Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Akil and welcome back to another special video for the channel, guys. And in this video, we're going to be going over once again a totally different topic to the other special videos I've done in the channel so far. In this video, as the title suggests, we're going to be going over, will these things ever happen? Will these things actually happen? By things I mean I chose 10 various different topics and areas of certain things that are either very likely, extremely likely, or kind of unlikely at the same, kind of likely, kind of unlikely at the same time. So this is all just fun and games. We don't know if these things will actually happen. I don't think all of these things are going to happen because some of them are pretty illogical. They don't make sense, but you never know with the technology, guys. So in my lifetime, I guess maybe at least 3 or 4 of these will happen. I don't know, maybe almost 5, but I know it's just all speculation here to see if these things will happen. But this video is really for you guys to interact and tell me in the comments down below, will these 10 things ever happen? So without any more time wasting, we're just gonna jump right into this video. Alright, so first is traveling to space, aka space travel. Now, man has already been on the moon. They've been on the moon few times already. And I don't know about you, but it feels like normal people going to space, they're still trying to figure that out. But I'm sure in the next 10 to 20 years, NASA will find a way to get normal people up there if they're interested in, traveling to space and seeing what's out there. Now, this kind of also leads into the next thing I'll talk about, but I do feel like it is possible that normal people will get to go up there to space. Now, will I go up to space? Probably not. I mean, I'm definitely not interested. I can't already do well on planes, so what makes you think I'll go all the way up to the moon and stuff and see what's out there? I mean, it'll be cool, I'm sure, but if there's a legitimately great, safe way to go up there, then maybe yeah. But I like, let's say now if they do, I'll be like, no, I'm not going up there. So there's that. But traveling to space, I do think it's possible. So yeah, this is the first one that I'm gonna say yes. And this hopefully should not take too long because there's only 10 things, and I really don't want to drag this special video out like I've done some of the other ones in the past. All right, so next up is going to be living on Mars. And for living on Mars, I'm going to say yes too, because if we're traveling to space, then they need to figure out where people can live and survive, right? Let's say something happens on our planet in the next lifetime or so, people might go up to space and live there. Now, I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon, so don't think like it's going to happen anytime soon, but I do think at some point it is probably possible people live up there. Now, when I say, let's say something happens to the planet, maybe we all don't get wiped out, but maybe our planet is, well, I wouldn't say dying in order, but let's say people choose to live at that because Mars is like the primary place to be now and all that. But Earth is like the secondary place, and it's not as good as it once used to be and all that. But we still have the technology, if that kind of makes sense. So it's like you still have Earth, you can still choose to live on Earth, but you can also live on Mars if you really, really want to. But Mars is like the place probably. But I again probably wouldn't live on Mars again unless if I really have to. But imagine being born on Mars. That would be cool. So I'm gonna say yes for this too. So far 2 yeses out of the 10 things on this list. Now next up is time travel. Now this is where we get into a bit of uncanny valley, because time travel for a lot of people, this just seems ridiculous, like if it'll actually happen. But I do have a feeling that if scientists are smart enough, they will come up with a way to make time travel possible. But then again, as we've seen in movies before, like if you mess with time, it will, really mess things up in the for the future and all that. So for that reason alone, I don't think it's gonna happen. However, this is one on the list that I would love to see happen because I want to go back in the past and just roam around like ancient Egypt and stuff. That'll be a pretty cool thing to do actually, because I love ancient Egypt history and all that, like Tutankhamun and stuff. That'll be really cool. Even seeing him as well. But again, I really don't think this is gonna happen, so this is a no for me. But some people might say yes. So you guys tell me in the comments down below. Do you think time travel will actually happen? Now, next up is teleportation. Now, this one I also don't think is gonna happen. This one just seems a bit much, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, we're now getting to like superpower territory. I mean, there's like three things on this list that are kind of like superpowers, and this is one of them. I mean, teleportation out of the three kind of superpower things on this list is the one I would want to have the most, just because you can easily get in and out of places. You know, like you don't have to even drive to a place, and you know you'll be cutting through traffic and all that. But at the same time, you do feel kind of lazy. Like you could teleport anywhere in the world in like a second, and therefore, like, what's the point? You know, like, what's the point, right? But anyway, I think teleportation would be handy, but there would be people using it for the wrong reasons, obviously. But at the same time, it would be very handy. But I think it's not gonna happen. I really don't. I think this just feels like it's ridiculous. It's insane. How they would come up with this, I have no idea. But this feels like this is like a superpower, like I said. So it's not gonna happen. People aren't gonna be like Nightcrawler and like teleport in and out of places, and yeah, it's just not gonna happen. Also, speaking of which, I should mention super speed is not on this list. Alright, people aren't gonna just suddenly run fast. I didn't go that extreme. Alright, next up is flying cars. Now, this one I'm gonna say yes to, because I feel like flying cars are already kind of happening, right? In a way, I mean, they're already trying to do like deliveries of like using drones and stuff, right? Amazon deliveries, dropping parcels everywhere. I think flying cars is a guarantee at some point. Now, whether or not I would go in a flying car, who knows? But I would be in a flying car that is like in those movies where you see like they don't have like the wings or like the propellers, and it's just the cars going on like a normal like straight line and all that. You know, like the futuristic movies, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, that would be cool. But as long as it like doesn't suddenly go fast, it's like normal speed and all that, then it'll be fine. But I feel like they would really have to work on the mechanics, and technology has to evolve and advance far enough for that to really happen. So I'm still gonna say yes, but I don't know when it will happen. But this definitely feels likely, because again, it's already kind of happening in a way, and like I said, drones are dropping stuff, packages and all that, unless that's just for ads. But I feel like that's already kind of happening. So flying cars, that's a yes. All right, now next up is flying. And flying is not happening. Flying is definitely not happening whatsoever. Again, this sounds ludicrous. I just don't think people are just somehow gonna be waking up one morning and being like, oh, I can fly, I'm like Superman and stuff. No, that's not gonna happen. That's ridiculous. People who say they can fly, that's like, nah, they can't fly. I mean, if only, right? Again, that'll be a very handy thing to have, like teleportation, but I think that's insane. That's like a very rare genetic thing, I think. I mean, again, the only I let me rephrase it actually. Speaking of rare genetic thing, I feel like the only way people could be, you know, given the ability to fly and teleport, if it's like some rare genetic mutation in their genes or something. But anyway, flying is not happening. It's not happening whatsoever. It's definitely not happening. Anyone who would love to fly, I'm sorry, it's not happening, guys. It would be cool, but it's not happening. Now, along the same lines, next up is invisibility. This is not happening whatsoever. Anyone who becomes invisible, that I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. That's insane. I mean, again, it would probably be used for the wrong reasons, but at the same time, it would be handy. But still, I don't think this is going to happen. I mean, what's the point, right? Like, you will lose human connection if you're invisible, actually, when you think about it. So I'm gonna say no for this one too. So far I've said three, I've said yes to three, and I've said no to four. So we're not really even, guys, but there are only three more left. So let's see how this goes. Now, the eighth one, number 8, is going to be talking to animals, and I'm actually going to say yes for this. So we are now 4-4. We're not even. And no, I didn't plan this. It just happens to be that I agree with this as well. I agree with this because, for one, there is like this device that animals can already kind of communicate with. Like, I've seen videos where dogs like using their paws to tap or press on something, and it's like words coming out and all that. I feel like at some point in the future, there's going to be a way to actually communicate with animals. I don't know how. There just definitely is going to be a way, because let's say you have a dog and the dog wants something and you don't know what the dog actually wants. I think it'll be very useful and handy to have a communication device or some type of way to understand what the dog wants. So I think talking to animals is definitely going to happen. When, I have no idea, but this probably will happen maybe in the next 10 years, I guess. Let's see. I really don't know. But this is something I feel like all pet owners need, and maybe all zookeepers need too, because man, they have it harder than pet owners, right? So yeah. All right. Now, the ninth one is going to be hoverboards, and should I say flying hoverboards specifically, not the ones that kids use and all that. Of course, we already have those and all that. But flying hoverboards like the one Back to the Future, I think, yeah, this is definitely going to happen at some point. I mean, if we already have hoverboards, then it's very, very likely we're going to have flying hoverboards. So, yeah, I think this is going to happen. It's definitely going to be useful. And, yeah, I think we're definitely going to get it at some point in the future. And when this will happen, I don't know. But this is yes. This is a yes, like talking animals as well. So far, 5 yeses and 3... No, wait, 5 yeses and 4 nos. All right, wait, 5, yeah, 5 yeses plus 4 nos, that's 9. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I just had to make sure I was counting it right. All right, then the 10th one is living underwater. And this is going to be a yes too, because there are some countries that sadly might go underwater, and therefore people might live underwater. But that probably won't happen anytime soon. I think Singapore is one of the countries they say it's going to go underwater, which is quite sad when you think about it. But I do think it's possible for them to live underwater. Could you imagine Singapore underwater? That would be insane. So there's that. But anyway, living underwater, yeah, it's definitely going to happen at some point. I mean, when? Again, I don't know. But this is in the far future when countries start to go down below the surface. So there's that. But for now, we're okay. But living underwater is definitely going to happen. So to wrap up, guys, going back to the beginning, even though I'm not going to show you the images. So the things that I said yes to: traveling to space, living on Mars, flying cars, talking to animals, floating hoverboards, and living underwater. And the things I said no to: time travel, teleportation, flying, and invisibility. So yeah, that's that. But guys, that is pretty much it. That is everything I wanted to say in this video. I know this was not a super long drawn out special video like the others, thank God for that. But if it is long, I'm sorry, I do apologize for that. But before I go, I do want to say I have started season 3 of Hunter x Hunter. I've just become lazy. I have seen the first half of season 3, which is the first 10 episodes out of the 20, don't worry. And then season 4, I will try and finish it. Then season 4 is 17, but then season 5 is 61, so that's going to take a while. And then season 6, the last season, the last arc, I would say, is back to 12 like season 2. So there's that. But I still have 2 other anime. I want videos. I still have 2 other animes that I've got planned for the rest of the year, guys. Yeah. But guys, that's all I wanted to say for this video. And in terms of like new movies coming out, I mean, there's nothing really out now for the most part that's super interesting. I mean, Long Walk actually did kind of interest me, but then now I'm like, I don't know, man, let's see. But I still have not seen Ballerina and Snow White, so I will do catch up reviews for those at some point. But I think the next movie I want to watch is the Matthew McConaughey film coming on Apple TV Plus, The Lost Bus. I know it's getting a theatrical release, but it's very, very, very limited. So there's that. But guys, that's all I wanted to say. Tell me in the comments down below, out of all these 10 things that I mentioned in this video, what do you think will happen? As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. My name is Akil, otherwise known as the Comic Director, and I'm signing out.